am Otis Roper.
I am Brandon Roper.
And together we are still
the Super Roper Brothers.
We are so sorry we've been gone. We missed you all. We're back now. Let's get on with it.
What can we say? Life gets in the way sometimes. We gotta, all this hits and rolls. None of that matters. We're back. And we are hitting it up, hopefully a little bit for Black History Month here today. With
Black History Month, February, shortest month.
Stop it. Okay. Look, we got a month, all right?
Okay.
It took 300 years to get a month. So, today we're here to talk about one of our favorite films of all time, Glory.
1989, directed by Edward Zwick.
Yeah.
Film score done by James Horner.
Oh.
Starring the late great James Horner, might I add.
Yeah, James Horner passed away a few years ago in a plane crash. He's one of my favorite composers of all time. I mean, Alien, all that stuff.
And so, just a special shout out for that. This movie is one of the most excellent films ever, starring Cary Elwes.
Yeah, Cary Elwes, Matthew Broderick.
Oh man.
Who else? We got Morgan Freeman. We got Andre Braugher as what's his name? Thomas. You've got Denzell in his Academy Award-winning role as Best Supporting Actor. Playing Trip. It is a fantastic movie. If you've never seen it,
Morgan Freeman.
Oh yeah, of course, Morgan Freeman. I mean, Morgan Freeman. He doesn't narrate this one, but it's like this is between this and Shawshank. Those are his two where he kind of becomes something else as an actor. Mm-hmm. I feel like Morgan Freeman transcends the normal acting roles. Like he really is kind of high above it. But it's a great film.
I knew Morgan Freeman was going to be kind of amazing. Really stuck with us when we saw him in not only Glory but Lean on Me was the other one.
Yeah, Lean on Me. As a teacher, let me tell you, there's some things that Morgan Freeman does in Lean on Me that I didn't understand as a younger person, and now that I'm older, I understand and endorse.
Glory is set in the Civil War,
it's
United States of America.
Shortly after the Battle of Antietam, there's the Lieutenant Colonel Robert Gould Shaw gets promoted, and he's basically going to be placed in charge of the United States' first group of colored soldiers.
54th Massachusetts.
Yeah, the 54th Massachusetts Infantry is going to be the first commissioned by the United States Army. And it's kind of a big deal because the war isn't going so great at this point. It's just before Gettysburg. You know what? Gettysburg gets mentioned as he's getting stitched up.
Yes. So we would need a gimmick. And that would be a great gimmick to get people to enlist. If we could somehow grab...
Hey, listen. It's a great story. I love the characters. And you know what? The history behind it is all accurate because this movie is based on the book, which is based on the letters of Robert Gould Shaw, which are quoted throughout the entirety of the movie. It's actually pretty historically accurate, even to the burning of the town of Dale in the Okay, so the movie kicks off, like I said, the Battle of Antietam. Robert Gould Shaw is in the battle. He's wounded. He sees all sorts of stuff. He's in kind of a PTSD mode. Goes back home to Boston, finds out about the new regiment of soldiers.
Proposing to raise a regiment of Negro soldiers.
I've submitted your name to be commissioned colonel of the 54th Massachusetts Infantry.
A lot of these soldiers are from all walks of life, and they are represented very well by the cast. That's what I love about this movie is each person is kind of representative of a group of type, air quotes, of black folk at the time.
Yes. There are no people in this movie who are some kind of idealized superheroes. Everybody's understanding different things about their lives and what they're going to bring to this. And I love Cary Elwes' character because of that. Because he's like, yo, in charge of what? Doing what? You want me? Hey, man, I'm not the guy for this. What are you training them so hard for? I really love his character.
I know how much you'd like to make colonel, but a colored regiment? I'm going to do it.
Yeah, he undergoes a journey in the film, and everybody really does. When they first get there, you've got Trip, who's just the devil-may-care, wounded man who's been traumatized. He's clearly never had anybody look out for him his whole life.
He said he was a slave. That's what that whole thing that he was going about. He said he was a slave.
Yes,
he was chattel slavery.
Where about you from?
Yeah, I'm around Tennessee. Yeah, I ran away when I was 12 years old. I ain't never looked back.
What you doing since then?
I run for president. I ain't win, though.
Slaves, beaten, scars on his back, has never had anybody look out for him, never had any sort of, I mean, he gets to the point at the end where he says, never had any family or anybody looking off, for me. So it's really like, just kind of that, like if you've ever seen An Officer and a Gentleman, it's kind of that sort of thing. You got Morgan Freeman, who's the older grave digger, and he's like basically the person that's the elder, and he, like I said, he elevates everybody in the film with his character.
Wisdom and caring combined. He is the Optimus Prime of this story, and his attitude affects the people that are around him so much so to the skin tone doesn't matter, the skin color doesn't matter.
And I want to definitely hit on that real quick, because a lot of times in these movies you get what is usually like a white savior in the movie. That is not the case in this film. In this film there is no white savior, because honestly the white characters are kind of like, they're experiencing with the black characters what's going on. They are not affecting what the black characters are doing. It is not a story about, well, one time this ragtag group of black folks showed up and then these white people showed them how to use guns.
And they saved them.
No, it is not that at all.
Dear Mother, the men learn very quickly. Faster than white troops, it seems to me.
They have risked their lives to be here. They have given up their freedom. I owe them as much as they have given. I owe them my freedom. My life, if necessary.
This is the experience of these soldiers.
Yes.
And not only that, but like when you see the scenes between Tripp and Shaw later on, it shows you that Tripp is affecting him. Like Tripp is affecting how he sees things. Like when he says one of the most powerful scenes in the movie, where he's like, what's this war? Nobody's going to win. There's no point. That's what Tripp says to Robert Gould Shaw, which is kind of a devastating moment when you know what comes after slavery. When you know what comes after the Civil War.
What happened after slavery?
When you know what comes after.
It was Reconstruction, right?
Yeah. Reconstruction until everybody gets tired. It's funny how everybody gets tired of your rights. And then we're tired of doing this. Let's go back home and lay down. But that's for a whole nother post. So
the feelings of the Roper brothers may not necessarily reflect the view.
It absolutely reflects the views of the Roper brothers. Like absolutely does.
It totally does.
But like I said, the movie is so great in the fact that this is what, and it's one of the movies that makes me cry every time I watch it. This is what we're supposed to be as a nation. These men, this situation. It's the great equalizer is combat, and when you see them in combat, there's no person who can watch this film and feel no way, unless you're just a stark raving Nazi or you just have no feeling inside.
What was the character's name? But who had the stutter? Because I cannot.
Jupiter Shots.
I can knock something down with this.
Jupiter Shots, man. Listen, wherever you are in the world,
because I don't
think
think
the sound of my voice, man. I have the stuttering, a lot of times we have the speech impediments in our family, so you sound like a lot of the people that I grew up with, and so every time I see this character, I see one of us, and I see how this character went from, this book got pictures, you teach me how to read, to at the end, he's reading the Bible by himself. That's how much time passes with this character, who in the beginning is kind of a novelty because he can shoot well, right?
Yeah.
But he wasn't taught properly. Great things, so much character development happening in this film, and we cannot recommend. The film score is otherworldly.
It's fantastic. And one of the characters, like you said, that was teaching is Sergeant Mulcahy, He plays an Irishman who's teaching even Cary Elwes says the Irish aren't known for their love for the colors, and he's basically he's really brutish and he's telling them this is your front, and he's hitting them and he's really getting in there. But
Company! Halt! For God's sake, man, do you not know your right from your left?
No, sir.
How many here do not know right from left? Jesus, pity. This is your front. This is your rear. This is your right. And this. Now you're learning, boyo. Company, forward, march. One, two. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You bloody Hindus, get it right. Stop. Start again. In each rank, count. Get your goddamn head out of your pocket, I'm going, you soldier. Left, right, left. Oh, look at this. Bonnie Prince, Charlie. Are you a gentleman? Are you a member of Congress or something? Or are you the bloody Prince of Africa? But don't look at me, look straight ahead, look straight ahead.
You know, the Irish are not noted for their fondness for the colors.
But honest to God, and you won't get it the first time you watch the movie. When you watch the movie and you realize that he is one of the best characters in that movie because he is trying to prepare them for combat. He is not training black soldiers. He's training soldiers.
Yes.
He doesn't care.
Yes.
Even the characters he's hard on. When he's hard on them, you see that character grow and you see that character do the things that he started to ask for. It is a fantastic performance. It's a fantastic addition to the movie, and the movie wouldn't be as good without him.
Whoever plays Sergeant Mulcahy is one of the only characters in that movie that I would say he is not racist. The terms that he's using toward them is to try to provoke a response to see if you can get you to break under pressure.
Yes.
Sergeant Mulcahy is one of the smallest roles in the film.
Yes.
But it's so powerful.
He's only in the first third of the film, but let me tell you, when he's standing there at the end, when the last time you see him, when he's saluting as they walk by in formation, that is not a man who is not proud. He is absolutely proud of the product he's put forward. And it's such a great, I just love it. I don't know how to, I could rant about it for 45 more minutes.
I want to say about Glory, then we'll get on to some of our favorite scenes in the film. I say that Glory is to black men what the Seven Samurai might be derived for in other films. It's that iconic. You will find a character that you were, that you are, and that you might be, and you will find yourself in them. And I'm not limiting yourself to just the characters that have the same skin tone as you. I see myself as Sergeant Mulcahy now at this age. I've seen myself as Trip now. I've seen these things, and so you grow, and as you grow, this movie just keeps getting better as a fine wine.
Yeah, I can't agree more. I am blown away by the fact that, one, this film is as old as it is, and it still holds up as well as it does.
Solid.
I mean, it's great. Ultimately, the whole movie is kind of a struggle to figure out, are they going to be able to fight? Are they going to be used for manual labor? Because a lot of times, and this goes on down even to World War II, black folk historically were used for manual non-combat jobs. They were put in the back, or they were not allowed to fight, which is why when Harry S. Truman from the great state of Missouri,
Independence.
Yes, independence. When he
Jeremy
actually desegregated the military, that a lot of that is what led to the civil rights movement. Because I can't be an equal and fight and shoot and see bullets whiz past my ears and then go back home and be treated like any old thing. And that's going to be kind of a lot of the civil rights movement, a lot of the time that it took place was because eventually the military couldn't keep up this idea of we have whole different colored units. That's insane.
So what do we do?
What do you mean?
That was the underlying question in the film.
Yeah.
So what do we do?
Yeah. I mean, and this is another thing that I love about Glory. being a Black American, a lot of times it feels like you almost have to like prove that you love this country, or prove that you belong here. When your ancestors have been here, I mean, I know in our case, for at least 150 years. That's a lot sooner than some Americans whose parents went through Ellis or Angel Island.
Potentially longer.
And so it just sometimes feel like you have to prove it. And in this movie, it just shows you, hey, they're as valiant as everybody else. They're as courageous as everybody else. And I think that that's hugely important.
To have a nation take away your humanity, to strip your humanity, and then to raise up arms in defense of the ideals of the nation, not for the nation itself,
yes,
but for the ideals of that nation. There's no group of people who are more patriotic that I have ever seen. And that's why this movie makes me incredibly proud.
Yeah. It's a great movie. It really shows that like there's that thing that makes us who we are. We are all people. And these are people who had never been acknowledged as people. And all they wanted to do was show, hey, we can hack it. We can do it. We're capable.
But shout out to the people who are about standing with and not just speaking for.
And that's what I love about
Robert Gould Shaw,
Matthew Broderick. I mean, I think this is probably Matthew Broderick's best movie. I don't know if...
I got to go to West Point Military Academy and see the plaque for Robert Gould Shaw, and I broke down and cried like you couldn't believe, just because...
Yeah, we went to the actual Massachusetts Memorial, and the one that's filmed at the end of the movie that, you know, shows...
And like the pride that I have in just that these men are the reason why I am able to have what I have. And this is just a film for that, but the feeling is very heartfelt and it's very sentimental, and that's why we say The Glory is one of the greatest films we've ever seen. If you don't watch it, you don't like good movies. What do you want?
You just can't.
What do you want?
A million loyal readers want to know what happens when the men of the 54th see action.
Ain't no dream. We run away slave, but we come back fighting.
1,000,001.
Marching is probably all they'll ever get to do.
And they gotta know that nobody's gonna let them fight. Am I right?
Okay, so favorite scenes of the film, since, you know, we told everybody how much we love it.
We could go on about this forever, and perhaps there might be some day where we might end up speaking about this movie or something like that. We would love to, but we're just going to give our top 3 favorite arcs or storylines from the film or scenes. What you got?
So I think Thomas's whole arc of character for me, he's an educated Black man, freeborn, he knows Robert, has known him growing up and stuff like that. He is but he's also what they like the kids would call soft, because he's lived a life of privilege. He's never had to have kicked in, but he is as courageous and valiant as everybody else. In his arc, he starts off, he's not able to kind of hack it. He takes a bunch of crap off a trip. The sergeant is on his case like every chance he gets. But in the first fight, he's wounded. And he makes Robert promise him not to send him back home. So as quote unquote soft as Thomas has been the whole movie, his character is as courageous as everyone else. And I love that. And not only that, but at the end of the film, when they're charging into Fort Wagner, who's out there really putting the spurs to him? It's Thomas.
That howl, there's a howl that happens in that battle. And I got goosebumps on me right now, man. And that howl, that when it happens like that, he goes from the soft guy like that, and the beast that he is at the end of that film is a completely different person. What's your next? What you got?
Oh, yeah. So, I'm not finished yet.
More.
But the thing that Mulcahy teaches him, he employs at the end of that battle flawlessly. And it lets you know exactly that, hey, this guy was tough on me, but guess what? It literally saved my life. Not only did it save my life, but it made me a more effective soldier. And I love that.
We love this movie.
Yeah, if you guys haven't known. The burning of the town of Dell. This is a hard one to watch. It's a scene where you've got the other group of colored soldiers who are being commanded by, I don't even know the guy's name, but
Shady McShaderson.
Yeah, he's really like the shady commander.
What's the actor's name?
I don't know.
No, the other actor who from the Shawshank Redemption.
Oh,
who?
Which one? The Kurgan?
No.
Clancy Brown.
The warden.
Oh, Bob Gunton. Yeah,
Bob Gunton is a shady actor, always playing shady people.
Man,
this is no different.
Yes. So yeah, they're burning this town. They go there and they rob it first. And the other colored soldiers are doing all this stuff because the guys basically clearly taught them that they're just there to loot. And so they loot the town, they burn it, they say they found all these secessionists, rebels, and stuff like that. Here's why that's what's messed up about it. One, that is an actual historical event that did happen. There's a literal placard there that commemorates the burning of that town. But also, what's important about that is that sort of narrative became one of the leading narratives in the South about what black soldiers were there to do. And when you watch movies like Birth of a Nation and other crazy anti-black propaganda from the South back in the day, a lot of that came from stuff like this. So it took some courage as a filmmaker for Edward Zwick to put this in the movie. And I do like it. Even though it's a hard scene to watch, even though it makes you just like this is gross. And even though Robert Gould Shaw ultimately does it, he does it so his men don't fall under the command of this clear, predator.
Shout out to Hollywood not shying away from showing actual historical events in proper context, because it ends up fulfilling the narrative for both sides that we sometimes need. That's very good. And what you got?
Last one, the scene where they're all about to go up to Fort Wagner. They're all marching, and one of the white soldiers on the side is a white soldier who had said some, racially insensitive things to the rest of
in the South.
Yeah, you're shocked, I know. But hold up there, because that dude was clearly from the North.
He was from the North,
clearly from the North, and I don't a lot of times, let's just miss this historical narrative. A lot of times, people from the North act like they're clean and somehow that they didn't do anything to cause any sort of racism that was going on in the United States at this time. Nonsense. They didn't want us up there neither. If we can just be honest about it, so let's just get that out of the way. But this guy is standing on the side as they're walking up to Fort Wagner. And even though he had been, like I said, he'd been a turd to them at first, as they're walking by and Trip kind of gives him the side eye, the guy's like, give him hell, 54. No, and then they start cheering. And honestly, it's the scene in the movie that always makes me cry because that's who we're supposed to be. And it's such a fantastic scene. I love it. So those are mine. Those are my big three.
I love that Trip shows restraint in seeing him when the Trip before, if he would have seen him, it would have been hands on sight. But Trip is a soldier by the end of the film.
That is awesome.
And it is fantastic. My three that I have to do for just
equal pay.
The equal pay scene. Will always be something amazing when the guy that realizes Uncle Sam got a deal, didn't he? We're going to get paid $10 a month instead of, was it 13?
Yeah, it was 13.
$13 a month. They got paid $10 a month because they were a colored regiment, and they refused to pay. They tore up their pay slips, and the officers followed suit because if you men will receive no pay, we won't either. That right there is a standing with you moment, not saying, man, that's a shame. That's unfortunate. There's what are you guys gonna do? That's bad. I guess thoughts and prayers for you, and I'll just leave you how you are.
The shrugging shoulder has never helped anyone in the history of pursuing their rights. Just going, that's terrible.
I know y'all came here for comedy, but y'all could get some work today. Get this work.
It's all good, but look, it's a great movie, and great movies reflect the actual history of what had occurred. We don't have to ignore it. We can be better for it.
Amen.
All right.
So my second one is the how many are left scene. There is basically a decree issued during the war that any Negro soldiers caught in uniform will be summarily put to death. Any white soldiers caught in command of such Negro soldiers will also be summarily put to death.
Oh yeah, they're gonna no. They're putting the black soldiers back into a state of slavery.
Yeah, slavery.
Yeah.
No, found in uniform was death.
Oh yeah, with stripes. Anybody with
uniforms was death, and anybody that was a slave that was found in arms was going to be returned to slavery immediately. So you have everything to lose by doing this. The other side does not respect you, even as a military unit. That's something that the other soldiers wouldn't always get. You always had a chance to surrender, even though, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But anyway, the next day when they issued that decree, Robert Gould Shaw wakes up and he said that anybody that wanted to quit was get a full pardon, didn't have to worry about it. And he wakes up in the morning and he asks how many are left. And when he goes outside, they're all still standing there. They're all in their ranks. They're all ready to go because, and I thought about this for many years, where were they going to go back to? They had nothing to return to.
Yeah, when you see the soldiers come up, a lot of them are barefoot and they have goats and they have like a rucksack that's everything they have in their whole life. Like these people are fighting because not just because that they actually get to become soldiers. They're fighting because that's what they know they need to do. Like we going to get the blue suit. We going to fight. We going to whip the rib. Like they want to fight in this war too because they know what they're fighting for.
But the fact that nobody left, nobody deserted because they were afraid for their lives. Nobody left because they were cowards that didn't believe in the cause because as far as they were concerned, they were the cause. Their loved ones that were still in bondage were the cause. So why wouldn't they come back for their families? If that's not noble, then what's the point? Then what are we doing this for? And my last one, oh my goodness, was it Sergeant Rollins' speech. His speeches throughout the film are incredible, but the speech he gives to Trip, which because we are a family review channel, I cannot post it.
Hey, listen, let me tell you, there's some times I've wanted to give that speech in my career.
I want to give it I want to start with the initial.
Oh, with the slap.
Conversational, the opener.
Yeah, listen, there's an exchange between them, and I'm just going to, he calls him the N-word. He says, you shut up with that word, or whatever, and he keeps on with his militant, putting them down, and then Morgan Freeman has had enough.
He's had enough. And he lays into him, and it's an incredible monologue.
It's such a great scene that, honestly, I feel like if I could find a way to impactfully show that to every young black man in America, I absolutely would. Everybody needs to see it.
Amen.
Because it's such a good scene. So, yeah, and then we both kind of agreed that Robert's charge up Fort Wagner is it's hard to there's a good movie you watch a good movie when every time you see a scene
you just wish it could be different.
You want it to go different, but it doesn't go different. And it's such a perfect moment for that character.
Here's why I love Robert Gould Shaw's charge at the end of the film. He survives Antietam by basically pretending to be dead. He lays there till the battle's over, till it moves to some other place. He laid his head down and the battle passed and he lived. And the end of the film, all you had to do, don't move, stay down. Maybe you'll survive, maybe you'll make it. But what happens to his men? What happens to the people that don't go back to anything? If he makes it home, he gets to go home to riches and whatever like that. When they live, they make it through, then what do they get to go back home to? And he decides to get up out of the sand and charge anyway. And Trip, who said he did not want the company colors, when he sees Robert Gould Shaw struck down dead, runs and grabs the flag and the colors, because at that point he believes in the America that Robert Gould Shaw could have laid down and stayed there, but he got up and charged, and I can follow that guy.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And
I mean, it really is. It's
goodness.
Honestly, even all these years later, it's still just one of the movies that I love it. It's a part of who we are as people. It also is one of the things that just one of the parts of Black History Month that I don't think people talk about enough because they can't. And it's because, a lot of times when you see people talking about Black History Month on television, it's always, let's acknowledge this person who's done this or who invented that. And that's all good. But the main point of all of this is somebody had to pay the cost to get you where you are.
Amen.
Somebody had to go through this so that you can be who you are every day. And I, for one, would hope that, us being black people, not just talking about the achievements of black folk, we could talk about how you have to use this. Use what you've been given. You stand on the shoulders of people who literally died You are the actuary. You are the dream of those people.
Oh my goodness. I was telling my wife that I am basically, our lives are basically the fever dream of some slave.
Yeah.
Hundreds of years ago is our lives right now. There's a line in Saving Private Ryan where it says, James, earn this. And when I see that charge at glory, and when I see the last scene, Robert Gould Shaw on the grave and then Tripp thrown in there, their shoes taken, the South is losing anyway, it's all over, but they're in the same grave, the same mass grave together. And when I think of that is when you ante up and you kick in together, you sacrifice together, no one can ever say that your motivations weren't pure at that point when you stand with people.
Yeah.
And so 1989 Glory is one of the greatest films I've ever seen, and I'm very, very proud to bring you guys this information because we're going to be doing a lot more of these amazing epic films that shaped us.
Yeah.
And we got to have a lot more content. We're sorry we had to step away for a while.
Yeah.
But we're back now. We're in there. Like, share, subscribe, please.
Yeah. Just keep watching. We'll keep posting, and we're going to be more active going forward. So, hope you enjoyed Glory.
There were some messages in this. If you rewind it, look at it sideways, and kind of squint, you'll see some messages in there.
If you haven't seen it, you really need to. Like, this is not just as a human being, not as when you watch Super Broke Bros and you think we're funny. Watch it. It's just a good movie.
Yes, it is.
Here they come!
If you men will take no pay, then none of us will.
I know, because I dug the grave. Long time I'm digging, I'm asking myself when, oh Lord, gonna be our time.
See, the way I figured this war would be over a whole lot sooner if you boys just turn right on and you let us head on up there where the real fight is.
You should have seen us in action 2 days ago. We were a sight to see.
If tomorrow is our great getting up morning, if tomorrow we have to meet the judgment day, we want them to know that we went down standing up. Yes, Lord. We want them to know, Heavenly Father, that we died for freedom.